free from Henderson. Got it to Messer in front. Backhander scores. The puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrow just pressed. Caught the puck loose to Edmonton. Back in for Alex Burrow. Gets up in the air. And now McKinnon to the side. No! With the left glove. Are you kidding me? What a save.
Hey, Canucks Nation, Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You've got it locked in the line change, the Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another watch party. Obviously, I want to kick off this watch party as we wait for the Oilers and Ducks game to start on a bit of a somber note. For those of you are probably well aware by now, we lost a good one technically yesterday, but we all found out the news this morning. John Garrett, Cheech, sadly passed away. I believe it was yesterday. Longtime Canucks commentator, former Vancouver Canucks goaltender, and I know a lot of us are feeling it today. We've seen lots of tributes outpouring love and support from for Cheech rather. And I just wanted to kick off this watch party by, sending my condolences to his loved ones and his family. I'm certainly feeling this as, Cheech and Shorty are, of course, my childhood. I grew up listening to both Cheech and Shorty, make the call for Canucks games. So I'm really feeling this. Everyone is, and it's just such a loss to lose Cheech. I'm actually probably going to go back and rewatch that last Utah-Vegas game that he called and, obviously remember Cheech. But I wanted to take a chance to talk about this at the start of the watch party. By all means, let me know in the chat your favorite John Garrett memories, whether it was if you met him in person, listening to him along with Shorty. Let me know in the chat throughout this watch party. During the first intermission, we're going to go over an article that talks about, John and, many memories from his colleagues. I believe it's an article from, I think it's J. Pat who wrote the article. So we're going to go over that in the first intermission. Second intermission, we're going to go over a different article that's talking about Patrick Allvin and the trades that he did while he was the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks. So that is the second intermission. But I wanted to, express my condolences to John Garrett and the rest of his family and his colleagues, and just reiterate that we lost a really good one. And, this is a tough one today for at least us in, Canuck Nation. So I wanted to do that for sure. But we're getting ready for puck drop soon. Connor McDavid will, in fact, be playing here in this one. So obviously there was, wonder if, it was reported earlier that he was going to be a game time decision. But from the looks of things, Connor McDavid will, in fact, play here tonight in this game, in this elimination game for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, of course, we all heard we all saw the goal that was heard around the world that, there was it in? Was it not in? I personally think it was in, but I do have to agree with a lot of people on how the referees were able to call that a good goal from their vantage point. So just taking a quick look at this here, we're going to, before the game starts, we'll take a dive into the attacking leaders for the Anaheim Ducks, as well as the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, this is for the season, not the playoffs. But let's actually take a look. The lineups, lineups are not available right now. But yeah, let you guys flood into the chat. Of course, they're actually, believe it or not, talking about John Garrett right now on the broadcast. Scott Oak, who's obviously, retiring after this playoffs. Yeah, they're just talking about John Garrett right now in this. But I see Bobby's in the chat. Hi, Bobby. So we're just getting ready. But while we wait, let's take a look at the scores going around the league. Right now, Minnesota leads against Dallas 2-1 at the end of the second period. And then Buffalo and Boston, they are a little under 2 minutes left in the third period, tied at 1. So, of course, Buffalo has a chance to eliminate Boston if they're able to get a goal in the next minute 44 seconds or potentially into overtime. Of course, series is tied 2-2 between the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars in that one. And that actually, third period just got underway. So either team are looking to go up 3-2 in the series. And of course, this one here tonight between the Ducks and the Oilers is a elimination game for the Edmonton Oilers. They have to win this one if they want to continue their season. The Ducks, of course, are looking to eliminate the reigning Western Conference champions. They have a chance to do that here tonight in Edmonton. So, yeah, they're just in, of course, a tribute for John Garrett before the start of this game. You knew this was going to happen. So we're just waiting for this to go. But yeah, no, once again, let me know in the chat your fondest memories of John Garrett and him being on commentary. As I said at the top, very difficult and hard day for everybody who both knew him personally and obviously, watched him on the broadcast. Yeah, just doing a little video tribute for Cheech here. This is actually something that I was just thinking about before I went live. What do you guys think about the Canucks maybe retiring Cheech's number and putting it up in the rafters? Let me know in the chat what you guys think about that, because that crossed my mind. It's something that I don't know. Can't remember exactly if Cheech is in the Ring of Honor, but maybe perhaps this upcoming season, Canucks could maybe honor Cheech by doing something along those lines. So let me know in the chat what you guys think about that. So we wait here. Cheech eating French fries from Wendy's. That's good. And we all know Cheech loved his fast food. This is really good. I wish I could play it for you guys, but obviously I can't because of copyright reasons. But this is really good. And he's really going to be missed. All right. Now, memory for me regarding Cheech, obviously I remember him being on the call along with Shorty a couple of years ago in the playoffs in that first round series against Nashville. That really stands out, at least for a recent memory for me, just being able to listen to them on the broadcast, especially while I was going through a difficult time myself around that time. So, but, let me know your memories of Cheech in the chat. I'm actually going to get a poll up and running for this game. Let me know who you guys think is going to win Game 5. Let me get this on for you guys. Let's poll up here. All right, guys, go. Let me know who you guys think is going to win here tonight. Type a 1 in the chat if you think the Edmonton Oilers are going to win. Type a 2 in the chat if you think the Anaheim Ducks are going to win here tonight. All right. So as I was saying, we're going to read an article in the first intermission. And here, let me just share this. This article right here is what we're going to read in the first intermission. We can read this one right now. But this just goes over, the announcement of John Garrett's passing. Former Canucks goaltender and color commentator John Garrett has passed away at the age of 74. Sportsnet put out the following statement on Tuesday morning. It is with profound sadness we share the news of the sudden passing of John Garrett, a beloved colleague, friend, and one of the most familiar voices in Canadian hockey. Cheech, as he was called, was a legend. His warmth, humor, and genuine love for the game endeared him to fans and colleagues alike. He brought insight, authenticity, and heart to every broadcast. He will be remembered not only for his remarkable career, but for the kindness and joy he showed with everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. John will be missed immensely. Our deepest condolences are with his family and loved ones. Garrett, better known by the nickname Cheech, served as the color commentator on Canucks broadcasts for over 2 decades. Garrett, who played 6 years in the WHA and 7 in the NHL during his pro hockey career, became an analyst with Sportsnet in 1998 when he joined the original Sportsnet team as an analyst. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman released the following statement on Garrett's passing. The National Hockey League family is stunned and saddened by the sudden passing of John Garrett, whose astute analysis took fans, particularly in Western Canada, inside our game for the last 4 decades. Following a 13-season career as a goaltender in the WHA and the NHL, Garrett moved into the broadcast booth in 1986 and never left, contributing his encyclopedic knowledge and expert insight to national broadcasts on Sportsnet and local broadcasts for the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, and for 2 decades, the Vancouver Canucks. On a personal note, I always enjoyed catching up with John when our travels around the league intersected, as they did one last time on Friday night in Utah when he broadcast the Mammoths' first ever home playoff game. We send our deepest condolences to his family, his friends around the game, and his many fans. Garrett was a beloved figure for Canucks fans, developing unmatched chemistry with play-by-play commentator John Shorthouse and host Dan Murphy on regional broadcast. 22-23 was Garrett's final season after 2 decades in the Canucks' booth. He appeared on select Sportsnet broadcasts in the year since, was on assignment alongside Harnarian Singh and Dan Murphy for the round 1 matchup between Vegas and Utah at the time of his passing. Sportsnet carried the ESPN broadcast of Game 4 between Vegas and Utah on Monday night. Garrett had a truly unique ability to mix humor with sharp analysis, and his big personality in the Canucks' booth alongside Shorthouse made Canucks broadcast appointment viewing no matter how poorly the team on the ice was playing. Goes without saying, but all of us at Canucks Army extend our deepest condolences to Cheech's loved ones. He will be greatly missed. So yeah, there's that article. Of course, like I mentioned, we will be looking into this one in the first intermission, but game is almost getting ready to start here. So once they do the anthems and whatnot, we will have the game action for you. Of course, like we said already, a must win for the Edmonton Oilers in this one. And we'll see with McDavid in the lineup. Let's see if they can do it or if the Ducks will once again surprise the Ducks and emerge with a win and eliminate, as I said, the Western Conference champions in this 5th game. Of course, the Oilers have a bit of an advantage being at home, and it looks like Connor Ingram might be getting the start here tonight instead of Tristan Jarry, which is a little surprising considering it is a elimination game, but perhaps Ingram has, of course, played better than Jarry overall, so perhaps they're going with their gut when it comes to who should be in the net. But once again, let me know in the chat who you guys think is going to win here tonight, the Oilers or the Anaheim Ducks. Type a 1 for the Oilers, type a 2 for the Ducks. They're just reading the starting lineup here in this one. But while we wait for this game to get going, let's take a look at these Sabres and Bruins, which just officially, the third period just ended, so they are going to overtime in this one. So we're going to overtime for that one. Of course, if the Sabres win, Bruins are out. If the Bruins win, they stay alive to live another day in this one. Looking at, sorry, this is my first time using this. I'm using Yahoo for this. But looking at the box score, shots on goal are 25-21 in favor of Boston in this one. Blocks are 16 even between the two teams. Obviously, Jeremy Swayman in net for the Boston Bruins. 20 saves on 21 shots through 60 minutes. David Pastrnak, 5 shots on goal in this one. Of course, Elias Lindholm with a goal in this one. He's got the lone Boston Bruins goal. But for the Buffalo Sabres, they got Alex Lyon in net, 24 saves on 25 shots. And then it is Rasmus Dahlin, who's got the lone goal for Buffalo in this one, 3 shots on goal. And of course, that is where we stand in that one. The Buffalo Sabres and Boston Bruins going to overtime. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Minnesota, Dallas, 2-1. Minnesota in 12:15 left in the third period in this one. Of course, actually, scratch that. It is now 3-1 Minnesota as they just scored. Looks like Michael McCarron with his second of the night unassisted for the Minnesota Wild. So they take a 2-goal lead against the Dallas Stars, assisted by Trenin and Tarasenko in this one. If we look at the box score for this one, shots are 26-12 in favor of Minnesota. Blocks are 18-8 in favor of Minnesota. So Minnesota out-blocking the Dallas Stars right now, as well as out-hitting the Dallas Stars 20-19. Both teams with converted power plays. Minnesota with 3, Dallas with 2. Of course, Jesper Wallstedt is the one who's in net. He's got 12 saves on 13 shots so far in this one. And Kirill Kaprizov, 2 points in this one, 2 assists. Matt Boldy with a goal. Or sorry, I stand corrected. McCarron only has 1 goal in this one, but that is his second of the playoffs. My apologies on that. But Zuccarello with the other goal for the Minnesota Wild, and for the Dallas, and Quinn Hughes, for those of you in the Canucks, he has 1 point in this one, 1 shot on goal. 23 minutes and 11 seconds of ice time so far. Of course, Jake Ottinger in net, 23 saves on 26 shots so far. Jason Robertson with a point in this one. Matt Duchene with a point. It looks like another defense. Miro Heiskanen is one who's got the lone goal for the Dallas Stars in this one. So we're just doing the anthems right now in this Oilers and Ducks game. So 11:17 left in the third period between the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars as we get set for this Oilers and Ducks game. Hey, Nick, how's it going, bud? Once again, for those of you just joining in, let me know your fondest memories of John Garrett in the chat, and I'll read them. Of course, as I mentioned at the top of this, sad news coming out of Utah. John Garrett unfortunately passed away yesterday. And, all of us are shocked, saddened by his passing. Everyone loved Cheech. And of course, I mentioned when I promoted this watch party in my community tab tonight, this watch party is for Cheech. I'm doing this for Cheech. So even though I did not know him personally, I honestly wish I did get a chance to meet Cheech. Because he's just seemed like an incredible human being. I don't think you can find anyone who can say a bad thing about John Garrett. So Whereas we're getting set for puck drop here. So the Edmonton Oilers on the brink here. Yeah, and Connor Ingram between the pipes for the Edmonton Oilers, while Lucas Dostal is between the pipes for the Anaheim Ducks with a 3-1 record, a 3.75 goals against average, and a 8.78 save percentage. Whereas Ingram 1-2, a 4.70 goals against average, and an 8.49 save percentage so far in these playoffs for Connor Ingram. We mentioned also Connor McDavid is in fact playing. He just took the opening faceoff, and we're underway. A loud "Let's Go Oilers" chant echoing throughout Rogers Place right now. Here comes the Oilers. Oilers break it out to center. And the Ducks are able to regain possession of the puck. Puck around the boards. Big hit there in the corner by the Ducks. Oilers get it out past center ice. Giving away. Anaheim with it. Now here come the Ducks. Carlson breaking it, dangling through the defense, but Oilers able to clear it. And it goes all the way down into the Anaheim zone. Lift it up. Oilers with it again. Loud "Let's Go Oilers" chant once again. Buck is behind the net. Dostal with it. Lacombe with it now. Pass up to Trouba. Puck dumped down. Oilers with it again. There we go. Oilers with it behind their own net. Up against the boards. Oilers with it past center ice, and it's dumped down into the Anaheim zone. And a quick whistle. Reminder, you guys can vote in the poll who you think is going to win here in Game 5. Is it going to be the Edmonton Oilers, or is it going to be the Anaheim Ducks? Type a 1 if you think it's going to be the Oilers. Type a 2 if you think it's going to be the Anaheim Ducks. We go face off. Face off won by the Oilers. Big hit behind the net there. Oh. Another big hit. Gets a big cheer from the crowd. Puck dumped down into the Oilers zone. They fire it around the boards. Oilers start breaking it out. Bouchard with it. Pass over. Shot. Scores. Vasily Podkolzin. What a nice pass by Bouchard. As much as we give him grief, that was a beautiful pass by Bouchard. So Oilers, quick backhander that just went off the post. So far, Oilers have scored first in all 5 games of this series now. There comes Leon Draisaitl. Pass off. Pass back to the point. Bouchard with it. Draisaitl with it. Shot. Loose puck. Anaheim regains possession. Oh, Oilers steal it. Stolen by Draisaitl. And then Anaheim breaks it out again. Shot by Trouba. Rebound. Terry wasn't able to get it. Here come Draisaitl. There it comes. Here come the Ducks. Pass across. Circle around the net. VL with it in the corner. Puck battle there. Ducks with it at the point. Shot. Say that was blocked. And the puck clears. Here come the Ducks again. Up to VL. Oilers with it now. Now here come the Oilers. And Dostal just quickly gobbles that puck up for a whistle. There we go. Oh, man, Terry whiffed on that one. He had a wide open net. Shots are 2-1 for Edmonton. Now here's the faceoff to the right of Dostal. No, Ducks are able to get it, dump it down, and that's going to be an icing. What's up, Alfred? What's up, Irvin? Wait, what? Dostal's nickname? Is his nickname Cheech? All right, face off to the right of Dostal here. Face off won by the Oilers. Blast from the point. Loose puck. Around the boards. Big hit. Oh, Gobbler. Right. Puck behind the net. Back to the point. Blast from the point. Looked like that was blocked. Back to the point. Emerson. Drops it. Nugent Hopkins shot. Ooh. Saved me by Dostal, and that puck goes out of play. Great chance there for Nuge. Ingram. Alfred, are you going to be at the watch party next week? I haven't heard if you're going to be there or not. I will be there for sure. All right, face off. Won by the Oilers. Back to the point. Down in the corner. Behind the net. Oilers with that. Ooh, cross. Nice pass there to nobody. Oilers fire it back down into the Duck zone. Puck to the point. Blast. Blocked. Rebound. Stop by Dostal. Now here come the Ducks. Killorn with it. Big hit in the corner. Killorn battling for it. Back to the point. Mitch Carlson, the shot. All right, well, I'll take lots of pictures and do some content while I'm there for you. All right, puck in the corner, behind the net, and whistle. Looks like going to be played with a high stick there. As we go to a quick commercial break here. But once again, you guys can vote who you think is going to win here tonight in the chat. Type A1 if you think the Edmonton Oilers are going to win. Type A2 if you think the Anaheim Ducks are going to win Game 5 here tonight. Let me know in the chat. While we're in a commercial, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We're still 3-1 for Minnesota. 5:12 left in the third period of that one. We're into overtime between the Sabres and the Bruins. About 14 minutes left in that first overtime. Of course, that is as well a elimination game. If Buffalo wins, Boston is eliminated and Buffalo advances to the second round. So you guys know I'm cheering for Buffalo in this one. You guys. So we got two. We got one vote for Anaheim. So everyone with the 3, 4. Two, 3, 4, 5. Alfred 6. Now we can have a little fun with this. But yeah, that's a bummer. You won't be there, Alf. But I'm still waiting on them to actually announce like an actual time. They haven't announced a time yet, but I imagine it's probably going to be in the afternoon since Canucks Combo is usually on in the afternoon. And they're doing a live Canucks Combo there. So, all right. Irv, 867-5309. 67. All right. Shot saved by Dostal. Puck around the boards. Back around the boards. And Anaheim's able to pick it up. Now here comes Anaheim. Here comes Lacombe. Shot blocked. Shots are 5-1 for Edmonton. 12:40 left in this first period. Hi, Hone. Hone. That's my wife, for you guys who don't know. Flawless Trons is my wife. Okay, I'll look into that for sure. Yeah, Oilers shuffle it down into the Anaheim zone. All right, puck dump down into the Anaheim zone. All right, Oilers with it in their own zone. There we go. Oilers pass it up. Dostal passes it out. Puck battle in the corner. Oh, loose puck just went. Carlson passes it up. Oilers. And goal. It's now 2-0 Edmonton. That puck just squeaked past Dostal. Zach Hyman with the goal. Yeah, just squeaked past Dostal there. So it's 2-0 Edmonton now. And they got the momentum in this one. Wait, what? Are you trying to get me in trouble, Irvin? They need a flying V and then a knuckle puck. Oh, wait, wrong Ducks. Ha, 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 ha. There, I looked at your joke, honey. Oh, they're playing Lincoln Park in the arena right now. There you go. Face off. Ball start. I can easily make that. Oh. Great kick save there by Dostal. Oh. Father-in-law says hi. What are you watching this on the TV, honey? Or are you watching it on your phone? I'm going to pop in when I can. All right. Puck around the boards. I know you're joking. Phone. Save made by Dostal. Oilers really pressuring here in the early going. Shots are 7-2 in favor of Edmonton. About 10 minutes left in this first period. What's up, Coach Rob? Loud "Let's go Oilers" chant throughout Rogers Place right now. If you're just tuning in, Oilers are winning 2-0 on 2 quick goals here. First by Vasily Podkolzin, and Oilers score again. And looks like Anaheim is yanking Dostal. Husso's coming in. Leon Draisaitl with the goal. With a tip. Yeah, Draisaitl tipped it in. Shot by Bouchard, and Draisaitl's able to tip it past Dostal. And Husso's coming in. So 3 goals on 8 shots for Lucas Dostal. Oh, looks like Boston won in overtime. Boo. Looks like it's 3-2 Minnesota against Dallas with 2:46 left in the third period in that one. Looks like penalty coming out. Is that penalty on Edmonton in this one? Who's the penalty on? Something like it's penalty on Anaheim. So Edmonton's going to the power play. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a tripping call on Anaheim. So Oilers are going on the power play as we go to a commercial break here. Let's take a look at, while we wait, let's take a look at what happened in this one. So we'll take a look at this one game. So it was David Pastrnak who scored the game winner for the Boston Bruins, who's second in the playoffs, assisted by Hampus Lindholm at 9:14 of overtime. So Boston staying alive in this one. Lindholm, who of course had the goal earlier. Of course, Dahlin had the goal for the Sabres. So we're going to a game 6 between the Sabres and the Bruins. Sabres are going to have at least 2 more chances to end the series. So the Bruins staying alive. And Minnesota just scored again. So it's now 4-2 against the Stars with a minute 32 left in the third period. So it looks like the Stars are the Wild are potentially about to take a 3-2 series lead against the Dallas Stars. It was Kaprizov scoring his second of the playoffs, assisted by Boldy in that one. So once again, Minnesota Wild leading 4-2 against Dallas, 1:32 left in the third period in that one. There we go. Rob, is that your prediction for who wins here tonight? Ducks? Yeah, tripping call. So Oilers on the power play here. Point. Now here come the Ducks, shorthanded. Ryan Poehling. Killorn with it. One-timer off the post there. Actually, may have actually hit the crossbar. Oh, the penalty was on the Ducks. Oh, okay. All right, shot to the point. Back to Bouchard. Down to Draisaitl. Here's McDavid. Not able to beat Husso. Anaheim dumps it. Bouchard with it. About a minute left on the power play now. Now here comes Connor McDavid. Drop pass. Bouchard up. Draisaitl with it. Oilers unable to enter the zone, and they send it all the way down the ice to Ingram. Now here come the Oilers. Draisaitl with it. Back to Draisaitl. McDavid with it now. Back to the point. Bouchard. Back to McDavid. Back to Bouchard. Down low. Nugent Hopkins. McDavid with it. Back down to Draisaitl. McDavid with it. Battle for it behind the net. On the boards. Bouchard unable to keep it in. All right. Here come the Ducks. So the Oilers don't get anything on the power play. They're now 0 for 1. Oilers with it behind the net. Pass up. Dumped up. Husso plays it behind the net. One-timer. Shot went wide. Now here come the Ducks. Breaking it out. Past center. Gauthier to Carlson. Oh, and he mishandles the puck there. Would have been a great chance for Carlson. Now here come the Ducks again. Pass back. Paling with it. Excuse me. Paling with it. Yeah. Oh. Ducks with it. Oh, no. Oilers cleared around the boards. Ducks keep it in. Oilers intercept it, and they dump it down to the Anaheim zone. The Comb with it. Whoa. Looks like there's a bit of contact between Oiler player and Ville Husso, and the referee was standing right there, didn't do anything about it. Although it looked like it may have been. Now we got a penalty on the Oilers, or maybe it's. Might be a double penalty, one for embellishing and one. Okay, I don't know about both of them going to the box. Definitely Draisaitl, but I don't know. The Draisaitl to the box. Yeah. Tried AIscore.com. That's what TSA Mike uses on his streams. No, I haven't used that. I'll look into that. I'm just using this one because I know on the THPN watch parties they use this one, so I wanted to give this one a test and a try. So I think I'll make it a little bit bigger. Whoops. Here. There we go. Yeah, it looks like Granlund's going to the box as well for embellishing. I don't know why, but Urban apparently scouting got multiplayer working on the job simulator. Oh, cool. Well, if we have time, let's definitely try and do that for sure. Maybe if we have time in one of the intermissions, we'll definitely do that for sure. Shows who has possession, where the puck goes. All right, I'll here, let me look at that real quick. Yeah, score.com. All right. Great chance by the Oilers there. Yeah, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be 4-on-4. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit here. You know, Anaheim with it in the Oilers zone. Cycling. Still Anaheim, still with the puck. And the Oilers are able to get it out. Here comes Gauthier. Oilers able to steal it. There we go. Oilers with it. Here comes Podkolzin. Around the boards. There's Murphy. Pass across to no one there. So the Ducks able to come back the other way. There's Seneca. Dumps it down around the boards. There comes Podkolzin now with it. And saved, or puck out of play. Great chance there by Bouchard. All right. Looks like this one's a lot faster than my broadcast. Save by Husso. Here comes Roslovic. Stopped by Husso. Yeah, I do like the puck tracking for sure, but it's like a minute faster than the broadcast, at least that I'm watching on Sportsnet Plus. Yeah, I do think the puck tracking is really cool though, for sure. Let's go to here. Yeah, Ducks only have 2 shots here with a little over 2 minutes remaining in the first period. And the Oilers have 12 and 3 goals of them. Oh, chance. Shot went wide. Shot saved by Husso. And puck out of play. All right. There we go. Back over to here. All right. Little under 2 minutes remaining in this first period here. Here come the Oilers. Hyman with it. Over down into the corner. Big hit there in the corner by the Oilers. Anaheim are able to break it out now and then dump it down the ice into the Oilers zone. Puck dumped down. Here come the Ducks now. Pass up to center. Now here comes Carlson. Save. Anaheim's best chance so far, and it was turned aside by Connor Ingram. Here comes Gauthier with a shot. Save, and the puck goes out of play. What's up, Justin? Still don't trust Edmonton with this lead. Well, yeah, they've had leads in the past few games, and they've not been able to keep them. So, quick update. A Minnesota Wild defeat the Dallas Stars, so they take a 3-2 series lead and have a chance to end it in the next game. I believe I want to say it's in Minnesota, I believe, the next game. Face-off won by the Oilers. Final minute in the first period now. Puck around the boards. To the point, back down into. There come the Ducks to center. Oilers are able to get it again. There come the Oilers. Oilers fail to get it in. Now here come the Ducks. Seneca. Over to Killorn. Around the boards. Minchikov. Over. Ducks able to keep it in. Less than 10 seconds left in this first tier. And the puck goes down the length of the ice, and that's going to do it for the first period. I mean, I think so. I know I'm cheering for the Ducks. And not just because I dislike the Oilers. I really like this Ducks team. They're a young, hungry team. Urban, I'm not cheering for the Ducks. I just never cheer for the Oilers, which is totally fair. Come on, Darnell, show us what you're made of. Defensive breakdowns. All right, and yeah, that's it for the first period. The Oilers leading 3-0 at the end of one. So, Oilers looking pretty good, but you guys hear about? Yeah, I heard something about like he got benched or something by Talkett. And that's really honestly something we've heard about all season long is him and Michkov. It's like a Kuzmenko scenario all over again between those two. Yeah, healthy scratch last game. No points, -1. Well, you got to come up big in these playoffs, man. So, but like I said, we've seen this all season, really. Or at least earlier on in the season, we saw this between him and Michkov. So, I know a lot of fans are up in arms about it. So, all right. So we're in the commercial now. So let's take a look at this article that I wanted to go over, talking about John Garrett. This is from our friends over at Canucks Army. In fact, this is from our friend Jay Pat, saying tributes from around the hockey world pour in for Canucks legend John Garrett. Of course, those of you that missed maybe the start of this, I started off the watch party, acknowledging John Garrett in his passing, and just how much this sucks, losing a guy like Cheech. So let me, there we go, that's good. So this article starts off by saying, it's easy to see the lasting impact John Garrett made on so many in the hockey world. In the wake of the sad news Tuesday morning that the former Canucks netminder turned beloved broadcaster had passed away suddenly at the age of 74, many prominent names in the hockey community took to social media to pay tribute to Garrett. From broadcast partners to former players to the mayor of Vancouver to the commissioner of the National Hockey League, everyone seemed had a story to share about the warmth, humility, and good nature Cheech brought to the rink. Sportsnet's Dan Murphy was working the Vegas-Utah first-round series with Garrett. Their final broadcast together was on Sunday night in the first ever Stanley Cup playoff game and victory in Salt Lake City. And here is Dan Murphy's tweet. It was literally impossible to be in a bad mood around this man. So yeah, that is just heartbreaking to see. Murph post that this morning. Garrett's longtime partner on Canucks regional broadcast, John Shorthouse, joined Sportsnet 650's Halford and Bruff on Tuesday morning to pay tribute and remember his late friend and colleague. I actually listened to this, and it was heartbreaking listening to Shorty talk about Cheech. He wasn't just our teammate, he was our captain. He's probably the most thorough, good person I'll ever meet. Cheech and I had kind of an unwritten pact that we would always take the job seriously, that we weren't there to belittle anything that was happening in front of us, but we also knew that in trying years, we just had this unwritten pact that we were there to inform, entertain, and have fun without taking it too far, because the bottom line matters to people. Wins and losses matter to people, but there would become a point where you're just treating it as a 2.5 hour skate. Tuesday is not connected to Thursday, and Thursday isn't connected to Saturday. There's no big picture. Let's just have fun for 2.5 hours and talk to our friends on the other side of the lens. I just think he had an uncanny ability to connect with people, Shorthouse added. Garrett kept a list of every single play-by-play commentator he shared a booth with, and that list included John Abbott, who posted the following: very thankful to have shared time with Cheech. This season, he was sharp in the booth and a genuine friend. This list is a small sample reflecting both his broadcast excellence and his endearing personality that was present every day. So many loved him. I am on that list. So there you go. There's the tweet there from John Abbott. Prior to tonight's Game 5 of the Anaheim and Edmonton series, Ducks coach Joel Quenneville, whose playing career overlapped with Garrett, took a moment to fondly remember the former goaltender. Joel Quenneville opened his media availability by sharing his condolences for the loss of John Garrett, calling him one of his favorite people in the sport. In the days following his tenure as Canucks color analyst on Sportsnet, Garrett was saluted with a day in his honor by the city of Vancouver on Tuesday. Mayor Ken Sim took a moment to reflect on Garrett's passing. 3 years ago, I had the honor of welcoming John to City Hall to proclaim May 10th as John Garrett Day in the city of Vancouver in celebration of his long and successful career. I was incredibly saddened to learn of his passing earlier today. Vancouver has lost. Here, I'll just open it here on X for you guys so we can see the rest of it. All right, just wait for this to load. Come on. All right. Incredibly sad to learn of his passing earlier today. Vancouver has lost one of its legends, somebody who made a real difference in our city, both on and off the ice. Rest in peace, Cheech. Of course, the Vancouver Canucks sent out something earlier this morning. Canucks Sports and Entertainment is heartbroken by the sudden passing of John Garrett, a cherished member of our family whose loss is deeply felt across our entire organization and community. We extend our heartfelt condolences to John's family, friends, and all who knew and loved John. Universally revered in the broadcasting industry, Garrett was remembered by some of the biggest names in the game. Not a day, and this is from Chris Cuthbert. Not a day I wouldn't smile just hearing the name Cheech until today. Heartbroken to learn of his passing. So many laughs, great memories, and life lessons. John Garrett was one of a kind. We'll all miss him. You even had Darren Dreger from TSN. I'm not big on memorabilia and don't collect things from teams or players. My one exception, a signed picture John Garrett gave me years ago. He cherished family, friends, and work. It was his thoughtfulness and sense of humor that made him the best. Rest, Cheech. And it isn't every day that a journeyman goalie is officially remembered by the National Hockey League and Commissioner Gary Bettman. Of course, the fact the league released an official statement with a comment from Bettman demonstrates the place Garrett held in the hearts of the hockey world. He was much more than the 7 years he spent in the NHL. He was a hockey lifer who devoted 50-plus years to the game at the highest levels, from his junior days in Peterborough to his years in the World Hockey Association to his time as an NHLer. Then, of course, it was followed by a remarkable 40-year run as a color analyst on Hockey Night in Canada and on Sportsnet's regional broadcasts. Here's the tweet from the NHL Public Relations. The NHL mourns the passing of John Garrett, whose astute analysis took fans, particularly in Western Canada, inside our game for the last 4 decades. John Garrett brought joy to every broadcast. He had an ease about him that made every game he worked seem effortless. His smile, his laugh, his love of the game will be sorely missed. He is gone too soon, but this was a life well lived. And I truly echo J-Pat's final words there. A life well lived. And he did, in fact. It was, in fact, a life well lived by Cheech. Justin Rip Cheech latest report says he was found lifeless in his hotel room Monday afternoon. True legend. Yeah, I heard that too. I think it was John Shannon who kind of alluded to that while he was on Sekeres and Price. And, when you hear that, it just makes it even more heartbreaking. I know he was supposed to be on Donnie and Dolly on Monday morning. And of course, he ended up not showing for that. And of course, Donnie and Dolly both figured something was terribly wrong. And then, he missed the morning skate that night. He also was supposed to be on the broadcast for, Utah and Vegas, and they ended up not being able to get a hold of him. So they ended up showing the ESPN broadcast instead. And of course, later on, obviously, people were sent to his hotel and they found him. So it's just heartbreaking to hear that that's how things ended for him. But he will definitely be remembered. And again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier. I wish I had gotten the chance to meet Cheech, because I feel as though, obviously I would have picked his brain on his knowledge, but he was fantastic. And like I said earlier, he was voice of my childhood. So definitely a tough loss here. And yeah, this is just tough. We lost obviously Jim Robson a couple months ago, and now we've lost Cheech. But let's take a look at another article since we're still in the intermission right now. And I do like this one. Canucks related. And this one is, what's the best move Patrick Allvin made as a Canucks GM? This one written by our good buddy Tyson Cole. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the departure of Patrick Allvin as the Vancouver Canucks general manager, and the search for a new management leader is starting to dwindle. Regardless of how many lists there may be, there is surely no shortage of candidates for the job. However, we're here to bring some positivity to what was an ugly ending for Allvin in Vancouver. Last week, we went over some of the worst moves Allvin made during his tenure. We will go over that in the second intermission. But now we're going to go over some of the best moves he made over the past 4 years. These are all in chronological order. So these are the best moves. July 13th, 2022, signing Andrei Kuzmenko. And of course, I'm a big fan of this one. I absolutely loved Kuzi. But let's take you back to the summer of 2022. The Canucks had missed the playoffs for the second consecutive season, finishing just 5 points out of the second and final wildcard spot, and had not had much recent postseason success, aside from the beautiful qualities the city has to offer, and I knew foundational organizational pieces. Canucks really didn't have much going for them. And were not viewed as a destination for free agents. However, that wasn't the case for KHL superstar Andrei Kuzmenko. Allvin sold him on a vision and signed him to a 1-year, $950,000 entry-level contract, despite nearly half the league being interested in his services. Kuzmenko picked Vancouver, and it paid off for both parties, as Kuzmenko went on to have a breakout rookie campaign where he scored 39 goals and 35 assists for 74 points in 81 games. He was then extended to a 2-year, $5.5 million AAV salary a few months after choosing Vancouver. Now a coaching change led to Kuzmenko falling out of favor with the Canucks, and he was traded to the Calgary Flames as part of the Elias Lindholm deal. But the work Allvin did to entice Kuzmenko to come to Vancouver should be recognized. And I'll admit, I'm kind of holding out hope that Kuzmenko has a second go-around with the Canucks. But that's just me. March 1st, 2023, the Philip Hronek trade and extension. Following the trade of Bo Horvat, Allvin did not hold on to that New York Islanders first-round pick for a while. Just over a month after acquiring it, The Canucks then flipped that first-round pick along with the 2023 second-round pick in exchange for defenseman Filip Hronek and a fourth-round pick. Hronek played just 4 games that season due to injury, but really showed Canucks fans what type of player he was in his second year in Vancouver. In 23-24, Hronek formed a fantastic pair with Quinn Hughes, allowing his captain to truly develop into one of the league's best defensemen by serving as a stabilizing force on the right side. Hronek would set a career high in points that season with 48 and an incredible plus 33. His efforts earned him an 8-year, $7.25 million AAV contract extension. However, questions began to arise among the fan base about whether Hronek was just benefiting from the players he played with. He, of course, silenced that narrative this past season once Hughes was traded, as Hronek took on the added role, and he absolutely ran with it. The Czech defenseman went on to set a new career high on 49 points, but with a minus 23 rating. By all accounts, Hronek also took a step in leadership with the young players in the locker room and is now being considered for the team's next captain. On top of adding Hronek in the trade, that fourth-round pick returned in the Hronek deal was the pick the Canucks used to draft Ty Mueller. Mueller played a pivotal role on the Abbotsford Canucks' Calder Cup winning team and has been given NHL games over the final 2 seasons. Adding a top-pairing right-shot defenseman and signing him to what is looking like a bargain contract compared to some other defensemen's contracts in the league, and this may have been Alvin's best move. November 30th, 2023, the Nikita Zadorov trade. Once the Canucks started to show that they were going to be serious contenders in the 23-24 season, Alvin went out and attacked early when they acquired Nikita Zadorov less than 2 months into the season. The 6'7" Russian defenseman scored 5 goals and 9 assists for 14 points in 54 games with the Canucks. Those aren't outrageous point totals, but his presence was felt with his physicality and heart on the ice and his personality off of it. Come playoff time, Zadorov might have been one of the best Canucks on the ice. He scored some big goals, including the game-time goal in Game 1 of the second round against the Edmonton Oilers, and instilled fear in his opponents with his crushing hits and chirping after the whistles. Zadorov went on to score 4 goals and 4 assists for 8 points. Shit. Why am I tired? For 8 points in 13 postseason games, 5th in team scoring. And sure, it's upsetting that he wound up walking in free agency the following offseason, but to only pay a 2026 third-round pick, which was 65th overall, and a 2024 fifth-round pick, which ended up being Colton Roberts, for the brief experience of Zadorov in Vancouver was well worth that price tag. July 1st, 2024, Kiefer Sherwood signing and trade. It was always going to be difficult for Alvin to top his 2023 free agent class, in which he brought in the likes of Carson Soucy, Ian Cole, Teddy Bluger, and Pius Suter. And while he didn't land as much in terms of volume that offseason, he did so with quality when they signed Kiefer Sherwood to a 2-year, $1.5 million AAV contract. In his debut season with the Canucks, Sherwood had a career year, scoring 19 goals and 21 assists for 40 points, while averaging just 14 minutes and 53 seconds of ice time. Not only did he explode offensively, the Columbus, Ohio native would go on to set the new NHL hits record for 463. Sherwood was off to shatter his previous career highs in 25-26 as well. After the first month of the season, Sherwood shared the league lead in goals and had 17 goals and 23 points in just 44 games. He remained one of the league's most physical forwards while also earning regular penalty killing time, which increased his average ice time to nearly 18 minutes per game. Coming to Vancouver is what gave Sherwood a consistent NHL career. It was a strong level of pro scouting to go headhunting for his player and sign him to a cheap contract that they were later able to turn into 2 second-round picks from the non-playoff San Jose Sharks. September 21st, 2024, the Kevin Lankinen signing. With all the health concerns surrounding Thatcher Demko heading into the 24-25 season, the Canucks were prepared to head into the season with Artur Silovs as their starter after Casey DeSmith walked in free agency. But once it became more apparent that Demko would not be available to start the season, Alvin needed to add to his goaltending room. There was still Kevin Lankinen on the market. Instead of showing how desperate they realistically were, Alvin waited until after training camp for Lankinen's camp to cave and settle for the contract they were offering. Canucks signed Lankinen on a bargain 1-year, $875,000 contract. Little did they know how much they would actually need him that season. Silovs got the opening night start, but after he allowed 3 third-period goals and the overtime winner, Lankinen was given the crease and he didn't give it back. The Finnish netminder went on on to become the team's starting goalie, finishing with a 25, 15, and 10 record, a 2.62 goals against average, and a 902 save percentage with 4 shutouts. Lankinen's career year earned him a 5-year, $4.5 million AAV contract. Well, it wasn't a great follow-up season for Lankinen, recording an 11, 27, and 5 record, and the game is actually starting, so let's get back to here. Sorry to cut it off right there, but game's back. There we go. Ducks with it. Around the boards. Oilers ring it around the boards. And the puck goes over to the boards. Here's the comb. Back to the point. One-timer shot saved by Ingram. Here we go. Here comes Anaheim now. No. Back to the point. Bouchard with the shot, went wide, and thought that may have gone on to play there, but it didn't. Draisaitl loses it. Here come the Ducks. Trying to center, but the Oilers are able to stop that. Shot. And something's going on. Yeah, it looks like maybe penalty on the Ducks. This Ekholm was down. Looks like BL going to the box. Oh, yeah. Penalty on BL. Looks like roughing. So Edmonton's going to the power play in this one. They're already down 0 for 1 in the power play. So their second power play of the game. Oilers with it. Around the net. Only one shot on their first power play. Let's see if they can get more here. Bouchard. McDavid. Back to Bouchard. Back to McDavid. Almost lost the puck there. McDavid with it. Dangling goes around behind the net. Back down to Bouchard. Over to Draisaitl. Pass across. Goes off the stick of Hopkins there. Draisaitl back to McDavid. In front. Love save. Husso with a great save on Hyman. And now another penalty. This one going to the Oilers, and it's going to be Draisaitl. So that penalty negates the Oilers' power play. We're going to have a little 4-on-4. Or, sorry, it was Hyman. My apologies. Not Draisaitl. It's Hyman who's going to the box. Ooh, great chance by Hyman there. Boos coming from the Oilers fan base here. Yeah, looks like it's going to be tripping on Hyman. Or no, hooking, sorry. All right, face off to the right of Ingram. Won by the Oilers. There we go. Here come the Oilers. Here come the Oilers at center ice. Here comes the Oilers. Puck goes in. Side of the net. Puck around the boards. Now here comes Lacombe. Here come the Ducks now. Puck up in the air. Seneca with it still. Pass over to Carlson, who chips it in. Seneca around the boards. There's Carlson. Back to Carlson. Yeah, Anaheim on a brief, less than 50-second power play here. Of course, Anaheim's power play is 6 for 12 in the series. There's John Carlson with the shot, saved by Ingram. Terry with it. Back to the point. Over to John Carlson. Over to Kojier. Back to John Carlson. Leo Carlson. John Carlson. One-timer, saved by Ingram. And the puck goes all the way down to the Anaheim zone. Penalty coming to an end, so the Ducks unable to get anything done on the power play there. Yeah, great puck battle there. Yeah, John Carlson, that is, had a great chance, but Ingram is able to blocker it away. Yeah, that one-timer by Terry as well, another great chance. Anaheim shots are now 13-10 in favor of the Oilers, so Anaheim's starting to put on the pressure here in the second period, which has been their best period of this series. Faceoffs are 14-5 in favor of the Oilers right now. Faceoff won by the Ducks. Fire it down into the Oilers zone. There we go. Oh, big hit in the corner. Emerson there. Ducks with it. Trouba with a shot that went wide. And Ingram is able to make a save with the glove. A little bit of traffic there in front of the net. Wow. I just noticed the back of Ingram's mask as that image of the Joker from The Dark Knight. Pretty cool. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, big hit by Emerson there in the corner. All right, face off to the right of Ingram. Ducks win it, take possession. Lacombe with a shot and saved by Ingram. Yeah. Great chance there by Lacombe. Face off to the right of Ingram again. Face off won by the Ducks. Lacombe back to the point. Seneca, nice little move there. Over to Clorn. Not able to get a shot off. And now Hyman almost was able to get a breakaway there. Just a little bit outside of his reach. Puck around the boards. Buck stole. All right, back to the point. Shot. Blocked. Now here come the Ducks. Duck player taken down there. No call. Puck dumped into the Oilers zone. Oilers with it. Up ice. Ducks regain possession. And cut. Turnover. Shot by Kapanen. Saved by Husso. Now, here come the Ducks. Unable to. Oh, looks like a offside there on the Ducks. Hey, Shannon. Go Oilers, go. Caleb Mahoja, a 4-point game tonight, currently second in OHL playoff scoring with 23 points in 12 games. Man, kids got something. Listening to Donnie and Dolly yesterday, and he was supposed to be on. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard Donnie talking about that today and how even showing his notes that he had for that show as well. All right, face off. Won by the Oilers. Dump down into the Ducks zone. Anaheim, Lacombe with it. Pass up. Ducks with it. All right, here come the Ducks. Backing it out. Troy Terry tried to pass it, but great block there by Murphy. Now here comes Ekholm. Puts on the brakes. Puck comes back out to center ice. Now here come the Oilers who chip it in. John Carlson with it behind the net. Back to John Carlson, who passes it up. Tried to feed it to Terry, but he was unable to get the pass. Ducks dump it down in. Oilers with it. Wallman. Chipped up into the Ducks zone. Draisaitl with it in the corner. Back to the point. Shot. Wide. Looked like it was slightly tipped. Here comes, there's Bouchard. Up to McDavid. So for the Oilers, apparently Connor Murphy's left the bench. And he's gone down the tunnel. An apparent injury. Puck down into the Oilers zone. Bouchard beats it up. Now here comes McDavid. Round the net. Tried to wrap around, but puck left off his stick. Or puck around the boards. Szymanski with it. Oh, and the ref goes down. Ref got in the way. All right, here come the Oilers. Around the boards. And there's going to be a whistle. Looking like it might be a penalty on the Oilers. Looks like it. Ooh. Looks like the skate of Terry may have hit Murphy in the hand. Yes, Minnesota Wild win today. They take a 3-2 series lead against the Dallas Stars. Also, the Boston Bruins defeated the Buffalo Sabres. So now it is a 3-2 series lead for the Sabres. Sabres, as I said, still have two more chances to put away the Boston Bruins in that one. So, of course, in this one, it is still 3-0 Edmonton, 11:56 left in the second period. We're just at a commercial break right now. So actually, why don't I continue reading this article where I left off? Where was I? I'll just go from here. Lankinen's career year earned him a 5-year, $4.5 million AAV contract. Or no, I already read that. Recording a 11-27-5 record, a 3.70 goals against average, and a 8.75 save percentage. The production they got in net, a position where they were so desperately in need of at under 900,000, all because you were more patient than he was a great move that Alvin can hang his hat on as he walks out the door. What do you think, Canucks fans? How would you rank these moves by Alvin? Did we miss any? Let us know in the comments below. But yeah, we were in this article, we were just talking about the best moves made by Patrick Alvin. Of course, some of the ones we went over were the Filip Hronek trade and extension, as well as, signing Andrei Kuzmenko, that being the first move. But we're getting back to the game now. So, yeah, the Looks like Doc in the box, 2 minutes for interference. So the Ducks are going on a power play again. Face off to the right of Ingram. Oilers win the face off. And they clear it down the end of the ice. So this is the first official power play for the Ducks in this one. Over, and the Ducks score. And it looks like it's Alex Killorn, the man who drew the penalty, scores on the power play for the Anaheim Ducks on a bit of a broken play there. McTavish. Yeah. Murphy, who's back, was able to block the initial pass, but Killorn is able to get the rebound and he pots it in, and it is now 3-1 Edmonton in this one. Anaheim finally on the board in this one. Puck around the boards. Oilers with it, and there's a whistle. He played with a high stick, I think. All right. $11:27 left in the second period. Shots are now 14-13 in favor of the Oilers. So, and then the Ducks dump it down into the Oilers zone. Another penalty. This one against Anaheim, and that's going to be Trouba, who's going to the box. Woo! Yeah, they're calling it a hook on Jacob Trouba. So the Oilers going to the power play. Face off won by the Oilers. Draisaitl with it. Over to McDavid. Battling for it in the corner. Trying to pass it on front. Loose puck. And the Ducks are able to blast it around the boards down into the Oilers zone. Here comes Bouchard with it. Pass back. There comes McDavid weeding his way through. And the puck escapes the zone. Bouchard with it. Picks it back up. Here comes Bouchard. And it's going to be offside on the Oilers. $1:15 left in the power play for the Oilers. Shots are still 14-13. Oilers win the draw again. Break it in. Oilers able to keep it in. There's Nugent Hopkins. Back to Bouchard. Back to Bouchard. Over to Nugent Hopkins. Pass down low. There's McDavid. Centering in front. Bouchard with it. Over Nugent Hopkins. Back to Bouchard. Back to Nuge. Pass down low. In front. Save by Husso. What a save. On Draisaitl. One-timer by Bouchard. That one was blocked, it looked like it. Bouchard with it. There's McDavid. Over to Draisaitl. Shoot, scores. So Draisaitl scoring his third of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by McDavid and Bouchard. So McDavid in this one already 2 points. Draisaitl 2 goals. 2 points for Nugent Hopkins in this one as well. Yep. So Oilers extend their lead to 3 now here in the second period. And that's an icing. Yeah, Bouchard bobbled it there. Almost could have been offside. But then Draisaitl with the one-timer and boom. Draisaitl with his 150th career playoff point on that goal there. Face off. A bit of a tussling between Ekholm and Seneca. So it was a late whistle call, and Seneca shot it. Such a sad day in hockey news. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Harry, what's going on, bud? Yeah, definitely. All right, face off won by the Oilers. Oilers with it. Pass up. They dump it down. Oh, looks like there's going to be a whistle. What's going on here? I think they're calling offside. Oilers complaining about something here. Looks like we're going to a commercial break here. Are you ready for the draft lottery? Yes, absolutely. 1 week away, 7 days. I am pumped for it. I still need to update my live stream, update the time, but I also still don't know what time the watch party is going to be at Greta. So hopefully they release a actual start time if they haven't already, and I can update my live stream that I'm going to be doing that night. Are you wearing your Canucks jersey or hoodie? Good question. Probably wearing my jersey when I go. So yeah, I'll probably wear. Actually, you know what? Tell you what, I'll probably wear both. I'll wear the hoodie underneath the jersey, even though apparently it's supposed to be extremely hot in Vancouver next week. So I'll probably wear the hoodie underneath, and then the jersey over top. That'll probably be my attire for that day. All right, let me. I'm just looking for our next. So we have our article for the second intermission. I think when the sun sets, it starts. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Absolutely right. Yeah, definitely does get colder once the sun goes down for sure. All right, here we go. We're getting ready here. Face off here. There you go. Oilers with it. Off the boards. Anaheim intercepts it. Off the boards. And that goes all the way down to the Oilers zone. That's going to be an icing. 9 minutes left in the second period here. Yeah. Get ready. The puck to be dropped to the left of Husso. And looks like Oilers win the faceoff, and here come the Ducks now over the blue line. Shot was blocked. Now here come the Oilers. Doc with it. Dumped all the way back down into the Oilers zone. Off the skate. Lazar battling there. Doc. I think Doc just tried to draw a high sticking call. Just saw his head snap back there. Here it comes. Here's the Ducks. Breaking it out through center. Here comes Carlson. Back to the point. To Gauthier. Shot wide. Terry with it. In the corner. Ducks with it. Back to Hines. Behind the net. Out in front. There we go. Oilers able to, or tried to clear it, but unable to do so. And then the Oilers are finally able to get it out, and it goes all the way down, and it's going to be icing on the Oilers. 7:35 left in the second period. 4-1 for the Edmonton Oilers in this one. Shots are 16-13 in favor of the Oilers. Oilers this top line coming out. Face off to the right of Connor Ingram. Right now, the offensive zone possession is 8 minutes and 31 seconds for the Oilers, 6 minutes for the Ducks. There's the Oilers. Pass out in front. McDavid. He was stopped by Husso there. McDavid with a great chance. Big hit there along the boards. Puck escapes the zone. Oilers dump it down around the boards. Husso with it. Pass over to Carlson. Back behind the net. Here come the Ducks. Over to Carlson. Pass up, and that goes down, and that's going to be icing. Another icing call. Yeah, great chance there by McDavid. Just stop there by Husso. Face off to the right of Husso. Oilers his top line still out there. Draisaitl on the draw. Face off, won by Draisaitl. Back to Bouchard. Back to Bouchard. McDavid tried to feed it across, but the Ducks are able to stop it and clear the puck. Here comes McDavid. Chips it in. Stopped by Lacombe. There's Kreider. Ducks are able to get it into the Oilers zone, but the Oilers regain possession of it. Shots are now 17-13 in favor of the Oilers. And there's a whistle. Looks like maybe another icing call. There we go. Draisaitl McDavid on the ice. There we go. McDavid on the draw. Face off. Won by the Ducks. Back to the point. There's Trouba. Down low. McTavish shot. That's blocked. And out come the Oilers. Puck dumped into the corner. Ooh, big hit. Trouba with it. Pass up. There's quick chance there. McTavish. Trouba with a shot wide. Oilers able to chip it out. Dickinson gets knocked down. There we go. Puck into the corner. About 5 minutes left in this second period here. And Ingram covers it up. Shannon, I got my New Jersey and baseball cap from Fanbase. Nice. What jersey was it, Shannon? Is there a name and number on it that you got? As we go to a quick commercial break here. And of course, with 5 minutes left in the second period, just wanted to share what the article we're going to be talking about in the second intermission is going to be. And it's going to be this one. We're going to be reading this one. You know, we talked about in the first intermission what the best move Patrick Allvin made as Canucks GM. We're going to look at the opposite. We're going to look at what the worst move Patrick Allvin made as a Vancouver Canucks GM. So that is going to be what we're going to be reading in the second intermission coming up in about, well, we got 5 minutes left in the second period. So within at least the next 10 minutes, that is the article that we will be reading. So once again, for those who are new or just joining in, you guys should still be able to vote in our poll. I don't think our poll is actually working. Oh, Shannon got the black Quinn Hughes jersey and a Vancouver Warriors baseball cap. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, the black skates, definitely the way to go. All right, let me stop this poll. Oh, someone did vote. Oh, it did work. Okay, we'll resume it then. So once again, you guys can still vote in our poll. Type a 1 in the chat if you think the Oilers are going to win. Type a 2 in the chat if you think the Ducks are going to win. You guys can vote in the chat by once again putting a 1 if you think the Oilers are going to win, or typing a 2 if you think the Ducks are going to win. Shannon just voted for the Oilers. It was good vote to make considering the score in this one, but you never know. We still got another period and 5 minutes remaining in this one, so you never know what might happen. All right, face-off won by the Oilers. They send it all the way down. Husso fires it back up the boards. Oilers intercept it and dump it back down the ice. Ducks with it. Pass up. through center ice. It's Veal there who's able to dump it in. Here comes the Oilers. Dump it down into the Ducks zone. Rozovic there takes a hard hit. Ducks are able to flip it up ice. Oilers intercept it and then fire it across the boards. Ducks regain possession of it. Here comes Troy Terry. Back over to Granlund. Shot, saved by Ingram. Great chancer by Granlund. Yeah, Ingram's been very good in this game. Yeah, great chance there by Granlund. Still not a fan of that all white or mainly white helmet, though. All right, face off to the left of Ingram. Draisaitl taking the draw here. Draisaitl wins the draw, but the Ducks are able to get hold of it. Ducks with it. Killorn. Shot wide. Puck battle along the boards here. Ducks able to get it around the boards. Oh, it looks like it squirted out in front. Terry back to the point. Look to Hellison. Granlund to Killorn with a shot. Saved by Ingram. There's Lacombe, and that puck escapes the zone. And that's going to be icing against the Oilers with 3:19 left in the second period. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be seeing the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning square off. Face puck in the Oilers zone. Oilers trying to get it out. Ducks keep it in. Puck in the corner. Oilers. Bouchard brings it around. Ducks are able to regain possession of it, and they're trying to get it in. Oh, tried to pass it over to Seneca, but he's not able to hold on to it. Ducks still keep it in, though. Oilers regain it and are and puck is lifted out of the zone down into the Anaheim end. Loud boos coming from the crowd as they thought there should have been a penalty there. After Draisaitl got dumped. Puck around the boards. In the corner. Ducks with it. Back to the point. Over to Carlson, who fires it, and it's saved by Ingram there. And there's some fisticuff, some pushing and shoving going on right now. Yeah. Yeah, that should have been a call on Kreider. No. Waiting for this brouhaha to come to an end. Looks like it's going to be 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes for the rest of this second intermission here. So 4-on-4 to finish off the second period. Shots are even at 17 apiece now. There we go. Face off to the left of Ingram. Face off won by the Oilers. Puck around the net. Here come the Oilers breaking it. Here comes McDavid. Puts on the brakes. Back to Bouchard. Over to Walman. Back to McDavid. Tried to pass it, but the Ducks were able to intercept it and come back the other way. Here's Terry. Here comes Draisaitl. Up to McDavid. Oilers with that. Here come the Ducks again. Gauthier. Back drop pass wide. There we go. Yeah, bit of a foot race there by Husso and McDavid, and that goes into the Oilers bench. All right, face off to the left of Husso. And then Ducks with it. Less than a minute left in the second period. Here come the Ducks. Pass up. Gauthier. Over to Trouba, who lost the handle of it. And that puck escapes the zone. Gauthier, pass up. Drop pass. Puck dumped down into the Oilers zone. Here comes Nurse. Pass up. And there's a whistle. Apparently, perhaps offside. Big hit by Podkolzin there on Mintukov in front of the Anaheim bench there. 15.3 seconds left in the second period. Oilers win the faceoff. Here come the Oilers. Pass a little behind Roslovic there. Hit in the corner. And that's going to do it for the second period. Ducks still down. Ooh, excuse me. Ducks still down at the end of the second period. Oilers still leading by a score of 4-1 in this one. But we are going to the intermission here. So before we read our article, I'd like to give a shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this watch party, none other than, of course, DraftKings Sportsbook, which is, of course, a official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup Playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn, where every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. Once again, that is code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
All right. Now that we're back, we're going to take a look at this article. As I mentioned earlier, we went over some of the best moves made by Patrick Allvin as Canucks GM. This time, we're going to take a look at some of the worst moves made by Patrick Allvin as the Canucks general manager. And as you can tell from the image, obviously one of them is going to be the Bo Horvat trade. So this one, also written by Tyson Cole, who wrote the article that we talked about earlier. In this one, he goes on to say, now over, and this article is from the 25th, so a few days ago, over a week removed from Patrick Allvin's departure as Vancouver Canucks GM, we began to reminisce about some of the moves, good and bad, made over the previous 4 years in Vancouver. At the start, the entire fan base was excited for change. It had been far too long seeing Jim Benning make all these questionable moves that set the franchise back even further from their goal. So when new president of Hockey Ops and Hockey Hall of Famer Jim Rutherford appointed Allvin as the next Canucks GM, there was hope. After the Canucks took their turn toward competitiveness in 23-24, Allvin made some trades to bolster the group. Fans were shouting his praise. Fast forward just 2 seasons later, now the Canucks are searching for his replacement. So how did we get here? Let's revisit some of the worst moves Allvin made during his tenure and let you guys decide which of these moves were the worst. So we're going to go in chronological order. July 13th, 2022, Ilya Mikheyev signing and then subsequent cap dump trade. Heading into his first free agency, Allvin's biggest financial free agent ad was Mikheyev. They signed the Russian winger to a 4-year, $4.75 million deal. Safe to say that bet did not work out. To be fair to him, Mikheyev played through most of his first season in Vancouver with a torn ACL. Despite that, he still managed to score 13 goals and 15 assists for 28 points in 46 games. And he was fairly durable the next season, playing 78 games, but his production dipped to just 11 goals and 20 assists for 31 points. Aside from his offensive production, Mikheyev was known for his penalty-killing prowess and elite speed. The year before signing in Vancouver, he ranked in the 95th percentile in max skating speed, according to NHL Edge. That speed declined to the 73rd percentile in both of his years with the Canucks. Again, his ACL injury certainly factored into that dip, but that is what we saw on the ice. Maybe he was thrust into too big of a role in Vancouver. In 23-24, the Canucks had to play him on the top line with Elias Pettersson because they couldn't disrupt the Pius Suter, JT Miller, Brock Besser line, or the Dakota Joshua, Teddy Blueger, Connor Garland line, so maybe he wasn't put in a position to succeed. Regardless, the organization grew frustrated with his lack of production, so they not only had to retain on his contract, but attach additional assets in order to get out of the final 2 years of his $4.75 million contract. That summer, he was traded to the Chicago Blackhawks, along with an expiring Sam Lafferty and a 2027 second-round pick that now looks to be an elite piece in exchange for a measly 2027 fourth-round pick. Not great asset management. January 30th, 2023, trading Bo Horvat to the New York Islanders for Anthony Beauvillier, Aatu Räty, and a 2023 first-round pick that ended up being traded to Detroit in the Filip Hronek trade and ended up being Axel Sandin-Pellikka. Not only has the trade not worked out the way the Canucks had hoped, but looking back now, some believe that this trade was the beginning of the end for that core of the Canucks. We'll start with the trade itself. The trade was presented to fans as one in which the Canucks acquired 3 first-round talents. Alvin said as much in his official statement. You can look at it that we got 3 first-rounders back here. But let's be real. Beauvillier was 25 years old at the time of the trade and had no higher than a 39-point season under his belt. Coming into his draft year, Ratu was projected to be a top 3 pick in 2021. However, he fell all the way to the middle of the second round when the Islanders selected him at 52nd overall. That's closer to a third-round pick than it is a first. The first-round pick they received was used to acquire Filip Hronek, which was the best part of the deal. Beauvillier went on to play just 55 games for the Canucks before he was dealt for a 5th-round pick. Ratu struggled to get consistent minutes this season on the 32nd place team. That's not great production. Then comes in the losing Horvat side of it all. Horvat was the team's captain and had to be traded when this management group chose JT Miller over him. Once Horvat left, the locker room shattered, creating a rift between 2 star players, one of whom was the guy they chose over Horvat. One wonders where the Canucks would be right now had they kept Horvat. August 18, 2024, shipping Vasily Podkolzin to Edmonton for a 2025 4th-round pick, trading that pick back to Edmonton for Evander Kane. After giving Podkolzin a true chance in his rookie year, playing him 79 games while averaging nearly 13 minutes per game, the Canucks decided to ship him to Abbotsford so he could further develop. And once he looked ready to make the jump to an NHL regular, the Canucks went out and signed Daniel Sprong in late July, leaving Podkolzin on the outside looking in yet again. So they traded him for a 4th-round pick to their rival, the Edmonton Oilers. Following summer, the Canucks traded that 4th-round pick back to the Oilers for Evander Kane, and while the Kane experience in Vancouver did not work out as planned. In his homecoming season, Kane scored 13 goals and 18 assists for 31 points in 71 games. His lack of offensive and physical production, along with his lackadaisical defensive habits, left fans displeased with the Vancouver native. On the other hand, Podkolzin went on to score a career high in goals, 19, and assists, 18 points, 37, plus minus a plus 16, and time on ice, 15 minutes and 23 seconds this year with the Oilers. Now, Podkolzin, 24, is thriving in the playoffs, while Kane is set to walk in free agency for nothing after he had no interest on the trade market around the league at the past deadline. January 31st, 2025, acquiring Drew O'Connor and Marcus Pettersson from Pittsburgh for Danton Heinen, Vinny Desharnais, Melvin Fernstrom, and a 2025 first-round pick that was traded to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia used it to draft Jack Nesbitt. It was a chaotic day on January 31st, 2025. First, the Miller trade to the New York Rangers signaled a change in the organizational direction, but instead of seeing the writing on the wall that the team was in a downward spiral and should have probably kept that first-round pick they acquired mere hours ago, Alvin traded it along with their top 2024 draft pick, Fernstrom, who was a 3rd-round pick, and 2 cap dumps for 2 expiring players. Credit to Alvin for not letting them be just rentals and for extending both O'Connor and Marcus Pettersson. And the O'Connor contract has in fact paid off, but it was a tough year from Pettersson, who is still on the books for another 5 more years at $5.5 million per season, with a full no movement clause for the next 2 years and a modified no trade for the final 3 of those years. They were able to move out some bad money on the books in this deal, but they gave out that bad money just over 6 months before they had to trade them. Had they not signed those contracts, that hefty first-round price tag likely wouldn't be a part of this deal, and boy, could the organization use another first-round pick in the system right now. July 1st, 2025, Connor Garland and Thatcher Demko extensions. Honestly, it could have been the entire 2025 offseason, not only these extensions, but also the lack of moves they made to truly improve the team if they wanted to, quote-unquote, win for Quinn. When they realized they couldn't do that through free agency or the trade market, they smashed the, quote-unquote, extend Hughes' friends in hope that convinces him to stay button. That clearly didn't work. The Garland extension wasn't the worst. A 6-year, $6 million per year contract seemed like market value with a rising cap. However, had Garland been a rental, that price tag at the NHL trade deadline would have been higher than the second and third round picks they acquired for him. On the other hand, they paid probably a bit above market price for Demko, who, when playing at the top of his game, is worth the $8.5 million cap hit. But that's the problem. Demko is rarely healthy, and now they're stuck with the question mark that surrounds his health for 3 more seasons. Demko's extension also forced the organization to part ways with fan favorite goaltender Artur Silovs in exchange for Chase Stillman and a 4th round pick. All of this guaranteed money and trade protection handed out as a last-ditch effort to keep a player who had already informed the organization of his desire to leave is something the next regime is going to have trouble dealing with as they try to navigate out the mess they're walking into. Talks about the part 2, 5 best moves, which we talked about in the first intermission. But what do you think, Canucks fans? How would you rank these 5 moves? Is there one move we missed that you would rank in the top 5 of worst moves made by Patrick Allvin? Let us know. Hey, Selena. Good to see you. There is that article. We went over the 5 best moves by Patrick Allvin. We have now covered the 5 worst moves. Let me know if there are any other moves that were not in either of these articles, and let me know what they are in the chat down below or in the comments if you are watching this, on video and after this live stream is over. If you watch it on video on demand, let me know in the comments for sure. But let's take a quick look at this, because apparently the Vancouver Canucks are set to finalize a short list of GM candidates over the next 48 hours. This article posted on April 27th, so yesterday, by our good buddy Quads. And he says, as expected, the Canucks are expected to move to the next phase of their search for a new general manager. According to the Athletic's Thomas Drance, the Canucks are going to finalize a short list of candidates at some point over the next 48 hours. Here's some of what Drance wrote. The first round of the Vancouver Canucks search for a GM is moving quickly. The shortlist is expected to be finalized over the next 48 hours, a team source told The Athletic this weekend. Multiple names throwing their hat into the ring hit headlines last week. First, news broke by The Athletic that the Canucks had sought out and were granted permission to speak with former Buffalo Sabres GM Kevin Adams. Shortly after, Shane Doan's name surfaced after Sportsnet reported that the Canucks had asked the Leafs for permission to talk to Doan. TNT's Paul Bissonnette confirmed the Doan report, while also adding that the Canucks were speaking with Ray Whitney as well. On Sunday, Edmonton Oilers AGM Bill Scott's name was added to the mix, courtesy of a report from John Shannon. According to Drance, 15 to 20 league executives have taken part in video calls with the Canucks brass to this point of the search. Here's more from Drance. Those in-person interviews with candidates on the shortlist are on pace to begin by the middle of the week. The loose goal remains to have the next Canucks GM in place by the NHL draft lottery. Although the team source was reluctant to put a firm or formal timeline on it, the team source also insisted that should the process extend beyond May 5th, which is in 1 week, the bounces of the lottery balls will have zero influence on the search. Last week, we explored, that was the article that they talked about last week, 7 names, which you should all know by now. And we're just getting set for the third period here. So here, while we wait, I don't know how much longer till the third period, but let's take a look at something else here real quick. Look at something from our friends over at the Daily Hive. Here, we'll take a look at this one real quick. This one is an interesting one. Are the Vancouver Canucks considering Marcus Naslund for a job? This one actually intrigues me. This one written by Rob Williams. Vancouver Canucks are reportedly entering a big list of candidates for their open general manager job and perhaps other jobs in their front office. Is Marcus Naslund one of them? One of the greatest players in Canucks history, Naslund's name was floated by Rick Dollywall on Monday's edition of Donnie and Dolly. Jim Rutherford, Francesco Aquilini, and Michael Doyle have reportedly each compiled their own list of candidates. Dhaliwal said he wouldn't be surprised if former Canucks players like Marcus Naslund, Roberto Luongo were on Aquilini's list. I was just told that it wouldn't surprise somebody if Naslund's on Aquilini's list. While Luongo's name has been floated before, Naslund's name is new. 52-year-old native of, I can't even pronounce that, Sweden, has been out of the game for the last decade. He did work in Modo's front office for 5 years, including 4 years as GM from 2009 to 2014. It's unclear if Naslund would be a candidate for GM or another job within the front office. Dhaliwal clarified, could he be considered for the position of president of hockey operations once Rutherford exits the organization? Wouldn't be the first time Aquilini picked a franchise legend for that job. Naslund is one of 6 players who have their number hanging from the rafters at Rogers Arena. He ranks 3rd all-time in Canucks scoring with 756 points in 884 games, trailing only Henrik and Daniel Sedin. He ranks 2nd all-time in goals, 346, sandwiched between Daniel Sedin with 393 and Trevor Linden with 318. You can add Naslund's name to a long list of candidates that have been reported since the Canucks let go of Patrick Allvin. Shane Doan, Ray Whitney, Kevin Adams, Bill Scott, Ryan Bonus, and Ryan Johnson have all been linked to a job in the Canucks' front office. Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman said on the 32 Thoughts podcast that the Canucks appear to value candidates with BC connections. I've heard 5 other names that I'm working to confirm. Some of them have BC connections. Said Friedman, I think one thing the Canucks have kind of looked at there, not even necessarily someone that was a Canuck, but somebody who has BC connections that might have some pride in the region. Thomas Drance reported in The Athletic that 15 to 20 league executives have spoken with the Canucks management via video calls recently, and that a short list is expected to be finalized for in-person interviews soon. Whoever gets hired will have a busy start to their tenure. The draft lottery takes place May 5th. Like we said, in 1 week, followed by the NHL draft on June 26th and June 27th, and then free agency on July 1st. So there you go. Excuse me. So there's that. We'll get back to this one. As the third period is getting ready to start very, very soon. Thank you to those who are watching. Really appreciate every single one of you for tuning in as we get set for the third period here. Yeah, getting ready for puck drop here in the third period. The Ducks still down 4-1 in this one. So far in this one, Oilers are out hitting the Ducks 31-29, out blocking the Ducks 8-7. Of course, converted power plays are 1 each for both sides. And Husso's so far had 7 saves on 8 shots, a .875 save percentage, and of course, Ingram has 16 saves on 17 shots, a .941 save percentage, and we're getting ready to get underway here. So let's get started soon. Simon, good to see you, buddy. All right, face-off dropped, and we're underway here in the third period. A loud "Let's Go Oilers" chant once again echoing throughout Rogers Place. There comes Anaheim. Round behind the net. Oilers able to regain possession briefly there. Ducks get it back. Now the Oilers get it back. Now here come the Oilers. They chip it into the Ducks zone. Here come the Ducks. All right, shot. Ingram with the save. Okay, Simon says, I hope that you're doing well, my friend. I hope that you're enjoying your Tuesday. And I just wanted to also ask you about your opinion about the broadcaster, John Garrett, who passed away Yeah, I talked about John at the start of at the very beginning. I also went over an article that talked about, memories about him. And, I'm absolutely crushed to hear about John Garrett. He was my childhood. Listening to him and Shorty, so he's going to be greatly missed for sure. Here come, Troy Terry whistles one off the bar. Oilers with it, and they are able to chip it up down into the Anaheim end, and it's going to be an icing call on the Oilers. So the Ducks are already 2 quick shots here in this third period. They're now out shooting the Oilers 19-17. Yeah, Troy Terry with a great chance there, ringing it off the side of off the shoulder and then off the bar. Face off. Granlund wins it. Shot. Saved by Ingram. So another shot for Anaheim in this one. There you go. Face off, won by the Oilers. Puck around behind the Ducks net. Ducks with it. Up the boards and down into the Oilers zone. That's going to be another icing. This time on the Ducks. There we go. Face off to the right of I almost said Dostal. Huso. Here come the Ducks. Seneca with it. Pass. Shot. Great save there by Ingram. Back come the Oilers. Kapanen with it. Dump down into that Duck zone. Chuba with it. Up the boards to Lacombe, who sends it up. Oilers with it. Here comes McDavid, who chips it in. McDavid gets taken down. Ducks with it again. Ducks with it. Now here come the Ducks. Back. Carlson with a shot. Saved by Ingram. Yeah. Yeah, the Oilers turning the puck over a few times now here in this third period. Yeah, it looks like McDavid was trying to draw a call there. Face off to the left of Ingram. All right. Ducks with it around the net. Here come the Oilers with it. Nice pick. Backhander and it blocked. Here come the Ducks now. Dump it down into the Oilers zone. Oilers with it. Run the boards. Ducks with it. Lost the handle of it there. Now here come the Oilers. Ducks able to regain possession of it. Here come the Ducks. Can't get it past center ice there. Back down to the Anaheim zone. Husso dumps it around the boards. Here comes Carlson. Tries to deke there, but unable to get past. There's Gauthier. Carlson the shot wide and tried to get a second opportunity just wide on that. Now Ingram holds on to it. Still 4-1. Quick brief little break here as great chance here. Face off to the left of Ingram. Won by the Oilers. Puck goes out of play. Shots are now 22-18 in favor of the Ducks. Face off. Won by the Oilers. Bouchard. Oilers dump it down into the Ducks zone. Battle behind the net. Pass up. Here come the Ducks with speed. Lacombe chips it in. Skipped out. Here come the Oilers. Battle behind the net. Draisaitl tried to feed it out in front. Unable to do so. There's Seneca. Oilers changing here. There we go. Ducks with it. Battling for it in the corner. Or along the boards, I should say. Puck back around the boards. In front. And Ingram covers it up. Great chance there. Get set for the face-off here. Ooh, that was close. That went off Nurse and almost could have potentially gone into the net there. All right, face-off. Won by the Oilers. And the puck goes all the way down to the Ducks zone, and that's going to be an icing. Yeah, that went off Nurse, that little wraparound chance. Face off. I want to say that was won by the Oilers on that one. Looked like it. And here come the Oilers breaking it out. They fire it down around the boards. Lazar, I think. And there's going to be a whistle. Maybe a hand pass. Chuba with a big hit on Nurse before that play. Here's a face-off now. Face-off won by the Oilers. You fire it down out of the reach of Husso. Ducks with it. Round the net. Oilers are able to keep it in. Back to the point. Emerson, who the wicked shot, saved by Husso. Some pushing and shoving in front of the net there. As we go to a quick commercial break here. Emerson, great save there. All right. Take a look at something here. Hits are now 37-31 in favor of the Oilers. Of course, like we mentioned, 23 shots for the Ducks, 19 for the Oilers. Oilers also have more face-off wins than the Ducks, 34-18. Face-off percentage for the Oilers is a 64%. Ducks is a 35%. Of course, the Ducks' power play percentage is a 50%. Oilers is a 33%. Both teams able to convert on the power play at least once. Of course, the Oilers with 3 power plays, the Ducks with 2. Carlson with 4 faceoffs won, 2 shots on goal, 1 hit. He's a -1 in this one right now. So just getting ready for commercial being over here. It's talking about a flashback. The Oilers against Colorado, looks like in the 90s. There we go. Oilers are 2-7 in series when trailing 3-1. But here we go. Here come the Ducks. Big hit there. Ducks with it. Shot by Chuba. Looks like that was blocked. There's Gauthier. Ducks with it. And that goes all the way down to the Duck zone. Husso fires it up to Lacombe. Back to Carlson. Shot. Saved by Ingram. It's like Rozovic might be nursing something. Face off to the right of Ingram. False start there. There we go. Doing the face off again. And it's won by the Oilers. Clean win there by Lazar. And that puck goes all the way down to the Ducks zone. So it looks like Rozovic may have. Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, it looks like even the scoreboard I have here is a little bit ahead of me too. So it's saying 12:47, but it says 13 minutes on this one. So, oh, now I think I'm good. I think it's because I wasn't live, maybe. Weird. But it looks like now it's on track now. Anyway, I think I'm all set now. Yeah, it says 12:47 on both now. Yeah, I think I'm good now. All right, face off, won by the Oilers. Puck dumped down into the Ducks zone. Now here comes Anaheim. Paling. All right, here comes the Oilers. Dumped out. Ducks get it back. Ducks with it. Fired it down. Saved by Ingram. Big hit there. Here come the Ducks. Dump it down. Ingram with it. Behind the net. Firing it around the boards. Ducks are able to keep it in. Shot wide. Here come the Ducks in their end. Pass up. Here comes Lacombe. Weeds his way through. Gets knocked down. Nurse fires it up. There we go. Puck behind the Ducks net. Here come the Ducks. Gauthier over to Terry. Drop pass. Leo Carlson. Around the boards. Ingram covers it. As when you talk about something in game on my TV has happened. Yeah. Sportsnet Plus is always like behind when it comes to the actual television broadcast. I don't know why. But we're 10:56 left in this third period, at least on my broadcast. There you go. Face off to the left of Ingram. Quick shot. Great save by Ingram. Mintikov with a nice blast there, and Ingram absolutely robbed him with the glove. Face off. Won by the Oilers. Around the boards. Race down into the Duck zone. Mintukov with it. Puck battle around the boards. Oilers with it. We go. Ducks with it. Drop pass down behind the net. Down to 10 minutes left in this game. Gauthier shots blocked, rebound. And now here come the Oilers. Yeah, Oilers are struggling to keep the puck. Here come the Ducks. Past center. They chip it down into the Oilers zone. Ducks with it. Broken up by Rozovic, who net sails out of play. Good look there of the mosh pit here in downtown Edmonton, right in front of Rogers Place. That is just packed right there. As we go to a commercial break here, with under 10 minutes left in this game, Oilers still leading 4-1 in this one. I'm just looking something up right now. I just want to take a look at something. Let's take a look at this real quick. All right, let's take a look at this real quick since we're in the commercial. So, of course, we all know Colorado swept the Kings. They will face the winner of Minnesota and Dallas. Vegas and Utah are tied 2-2. And the winner of this series will, of course, face either the Ducks or the Oilers. Then over on the East, we have winner of the Flyers and Penguins will face the Hurricanes. And then, of course, the winner of these two series will go on to face each other. Right now, Buffalo with a 3-2 series lead. And, of course, it's all knotted up between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2-2. Of course, Pittsburgh winning again, so it's now 3-2 in that series. But we're going to go back to this one as we're getting set here. As the Ducks break it in, and Lacombe is taken down. I don't know why the whistle was called there. Playing Shania Twain and Rogers Place right now. In your opinion, who do you want to win this game? Who do you want to win the series of all between Edmonton and Anaheim? I'm cheering for Anaheim. I just really like their crop of young players. So I'm cheering for Anaheim in this one, unfortunately. Sorry, Shannon. In your opinion, who do you want to win between Utah and Vegas? I'm going to go with Utah. Just because, and for the same reasons as Anaheim, they have a good crop of young players. So I'm cheering for Utah. Now here's the Ducks. Carlson, shot, deflected. Lacombe tried to come down. Quick shot. Ingram with the save. Anaheim with it at center ice. Pass over. Now here comes McTavish. Back down. Lacombe with a shot. Blocked. There's Lacombe. Carlson shot. That was blocked as well. John Carlson with it. Pass up. Moshi with it. Dumps it down into the Oilers zone. There we go. Ducks game able to get it in the corner. Oilers take it. Ducks take it back. Chuba down low. Ducks are able to keep it in. Shot deflected and almost had a rebound there. Back to the point. Granlund. Here's Granlund with it again. Now the Oilers able to clear it. Ducks with it. Pass up. Now here come the Ducks. Seneca. Here comes Roslovic. Fires it down around the boards. Now here come the Ducks. Pass up. Here comes Killorn. Who just chops it in. And Ingram just takes it there. Some pushing and shoving again. Yeah, Combe throws it off the shoulder of Chuba with that big hit on Savoy. Showing a replay of that. Face off now to the right of Ingram here. Won by Anaheim. The Combe tried to pass it back and fan on his pass a second time, and that puck escapes the zone. Here comes the Ducks. Shot. That was blocked. All good. Thank you, Shannon. All right, here come the Oilers, breaking it out. They dump it down. Ducks take it back. Chipped up. Back down into the Duck zone. About over 6 minutes left in this one. Oilers able to clear it. Offensive zone possession. Looked like it was at 11 minutes for the Oilers. Sorry, it went by so fast. I wasn't able to read it. Around the boards. Terry. Oilers able to bring it out. There's Draisaitl with it. Shot. Saved by Husso. Dude got the heck out of dodge there. As we go to another commercial break here with 5:34 left in this third period. Well, let's go back to this. We'll go to scores. So, of course, earlier the Bruins defeated the Sabres 2-1 in overtime. Darlene with the lone goal for the Sabres in that one. And, of course, Elias Lindholm had one of the 2 goals for the Bruins. And, of course, the game winner was David Pastrnak with 9:14 left in overtime to keep their season alive. Series is now 3-2 for Buffalo. Of course, Minnesota beat the Stars 4-2. With Matt Zuccarello scoring in that one. Miro Heiskanen as well for the Stars. Matt Boldy for the Wild. And Michael McCarron as well scoring in this one. So did Jason Robertson. He was the second goal for the Dallas Stars. And, of course, Kirill Kaprizov with the empty netter to seal the deal for the Minnesota Wild. So Minnesota leading that series 3-2. Of course, in the game we're watching right now, Anaheim, of course, leading the series 3-1. But at this rate, it looks like the Oilers will potentially make this a 3-2 series lead by the end of this one. But I mean, you never know what might happen in the next 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So, but obviously, they started off this game hot and started off this game right with those 3 goals in that first period there. But of course, we haven't seen anything since then. So we're just getting back to things here. All right, face-off won by the Ducks. And it's cleared out to center ice. Lacombe, pass back. A loud "Let's Go Oilers" chant echoing throughout Rogers Place here. And the Ducks have pulled the goalie in this one. So the net is empty with 5 minutes left in this thing. So Joel Crinwell opting to pull the goalie with 5 minutes left in this third period. So the Ducks have 6-on-5 right now. There's the Ducks with it. Once again, with the goalie pulled. Goalie is pulled for the Anaheim Ducks here. The Ducks looking to plot a goal here. Lacombe. Back to Lacombe. Shot. Looks like that was blocked in front. Around the boards. Carlson. Shot. Kapanen trying to break free there. Here come the Ducks. Granlund. Cutter Gauthier out front. Missed. There's Gauthier with it now. 3:40 left in this third period now. Ducks playing a little bit of keep away here. Here come the Ducks. Leo Carlson with speed. Making moves. Back to the point. Hines. Back to Hines. One-timer by Gauthier and his stick broke. Ducks with it still. Just under 3 minutes now left in this one. Ducks send it up. And whistle. Too many men on the ice for somebody. Too many men on the ice against Anaheim. So the Oilers are going to go on the power play here. So yeah, too many men on bench penalty for the Ducks. 2:42 left in this third period, and the Oilers going to the power play. So Husso is back in the net. Shots are now 30-20 in favor of Anaheim here. Draisaitl. McDavid now taking the faceoff against Veal. McDavid wins it. Wallman down low. Draisaitl. McDavid with it now. Back to Draisaitl. Back to McDavid. Back to Draisaitl. Back to the point. Over to Bouchard. Draisaitl with it. Back to the point. Over to Bouchard. Over to McDavid. Back to McDavid. Back to Bouchard. Hyman. Yeah, Oilers are just killing the clock here. And the Ducks are able to clear it. Oh, not quite. Here come the Ducks. They're able to clear it now. Yeah, Oilers are just draining the clock here. Now here come the Oilers, breaking it in. Now here come the Ducks, breaking it out. Dumps it in. Once again, Oilers are just draining killing the time here. Less than a minute left in this third period now. Intercepted by the Ducks as they just chip it in. Yeah, it looks like the Oilers didn't even bother trying on that power play at all. Less than 20 seconds left in this third period. And yeah, it's literally just a game of keep away right here now. Even the Ducks are like, blast it around. And that's going to do it. The Oilers win it by a score of 4-1. Of course, they're playing La Bamba right now. Sorry. All right, let's take a look at the Let's take a look at the final line score here. Our final stat. Sure. Okay, so shots per period, 6 for Anaheim, 12 for Edmonton. In the second period, it was 11-5 in favor of Anaheim, and then the third, 13-3. So the Oilers only 3 shots in that third period and 5 in the second. So they did most of their shooting in that first period, but it paid off because they had 3 goals in that first period. We'll quickly take a look back at the goals. Of course, we had Vasily Podkolzin scoring at 2:22 of the first period, assisted by Bouchard and Nugent Hopkins. That made it 1-0 Edmonton. You had Zach Hyman scoring to make it 2-0 at 8:33, assisted by Nugent Hopkins there. And of course, in the second period, Leon Draisaitl scored at 10:13 to make it 3-0, assisted by Bouchard and McDavid. And of course, Killorn with the lone goal for the Ducks in this one at 8:26, assisted by McTavish and Cutter Gauthier. Leon Draisaitl would score his second of the game on the power play at 10:24 to make it, and that made it 4-1. And it was assisted by McDavid and Bouchard, and that was the last goal. So no goals in the third period in this one for either side. All the scoring in the first 2 periods, predominantly the first period for the Oilers. And the final shots on goal were 30-20 in favor of the Anaheim Ducks. Face-off percentage goes to the Oilers at a 61.9%, 39 for 63, while the Ducks were 24 for 63. The Oilers, a 25% on the power play. They were 1 for 4. Of course, that last power play, they didn't even bother trying. The Ducks were a 50%. They went 1 for 2. Hits were 43 to 39 in favor of the Oilers. Block shots were 17 to 7 in favor of the Oilers. Oilers with 17 giveaways in this one, though, to Anaheim 16. Takeaways were 4 even. And of course, series is now 3-2 in favor of the Ducks. Of course, looking back, the Oilers won game 1. Then the Ducks have won 3 straight after that. They won game 2 by a score of 6-4. They won game 3 by a score of 7-4. And of course, they beat the Oilers in game 4, 4-3. And of course, in this one, the Oilers managed to win 4-1. We still have 2 more games. Next game is in Anaheim on April 30th. In 2 days, we will, of course, do a watch party for that one. As you know, this is the series that we've been covering the most when it comes to our watch party, so I'm going to stick with it. 3 stars of the game are, all Oilers across the board. Vasily Podkolzin is your 3rd star with 1 goal. You have Connor Ingram as the 2nd star, a .967 save percentage, 1 goal, 1.00 goals against with the lone goal in this one. And of course, Leon Draisaitl is the 1st star with 2 goals in this one. And there you go. There you go. Edmonton Oilers win this one. They're down 1 game in the series. And with the Oilers win, I'm going to go and get a warm shower before the Clay stream. Sounds like a good idea, Shannon. Thank you for popping by. I really appreciate you. And of course, Coach Rob and Simon, all those who were in here earlier. Selena, I saw. Harry, of course. Swerve and Irvin earlier. Justin Credible earlier. And of course, my beautiful wife herself as well. She popped in here as well. Elfrin, of course. Thank you to all of you for showing up. Really appreciate every single one of you. And I'll catch you guys in the next watch party. Till then, my name is Tyler. You've been watching the Line Change Oilers versus Ducks watch party. And I'll catch you guys in the next watch party.